Hello, in this video I want to show you several different things. I want to show you how to count rows of single crochet, and I also want to show you where you put your stitches if you work down the side of your work in single crochet. I've done 9 stitches and 9 rows of stitches, and I'm going to show you when you do 9 by 9. Your 9 rows is about 2 1/4 inches, but my 9 stitches is 2 3/4 inches. So that means single crochets are not square. They are wider than what they are tall. So that'll affect when we work down the outside edge where we're going to put our stitches. Another thing you want to do is know how to count. It's like, how do you count such a tight fabric? Well, this is what it is. At the bottom, this is the first row that I did with the right side facing. So I'm going to turn it over and have the first row wrong side facing me. And if you look, you see these lines that go horizontally? Those are the back of a row. And these little valleys and these little creases right here are the front of a row. So if you look, the back and the front of the row create a ridge, and you count those ridges by 2s. So it's 2, 4, 6, 8, and then here's just a ridge and no valley, so that's 9. So that's 9 rows of single crochet. That's how you count rows in single crochet. Now let's move on to working up down the side. Often you will have a pattern that will have you just work down the side of your work, and it'll say place 8 stitches evenly down the side. And then you kind of have to do your math. Okay, well, I have 9 rows. How do I get 8 stitches? And if you're not using a pattern and you just are making something up, and you want to work a border around the outside, the easiest thing to do for me is I do 2 stitches next to each other and skip 1. And how I'm going to do it is I'm going to chain 1, then I'm going to skip this first row. Okay, and see these little lines here, these bumps? Those are your chain 1s from when you turned. Okay, and so what I'm going to do, going to work in that hole where that loop goes for the chain 1 and make a single crochet. And then the next stitch, it goes down in, because this isn't where a chain is, that's just the side of a single crochet. So what I do is I go under one loop, see the V? I'm going to turn it this way. See the V that goes for the middle of your last stitch? I go under that loop right there, and then I catch the loop that's behind it and go under 2 loops. I draw up a loop and make my single crochet. Okay, now that's 2, and I'm going to skip this next hole that's below the chain space and go in the end of the next single crochet. Now you're going to have to experiment with this because we all make our stitches slightly different. And that was 2. Okay, then I'm going to skip this one and go in the next one, and then in the V of the next stitch in the loop behind it. Okay, now and that's looks fairly even. All right, now if I'm going to turn the corner and go back across the bottom of the original chain, you can do either 2 things. You can put another stitch in the end of this and skip that first chain, or you can put 2 in that chain. I am going to, because up here I chained 1, I am going to chain 1 here and turn it around and work across the chain at the bottom and just single crochet in each chain across. You work back across, going in each chain, going across the bottom. So you should have 9 going across the bottom, including that first one after your chain. 8, 9. Then again, we're going to want to work up the other side. So I chain 1, and I don't work into the stitch I just made. I pivot it around, and then I'm going to work into the end of the next row, just like so. And then I'm going to work into under 2 loops of the next stitch. Okay, and because we're going up from the bottom, the space we work into is above the turning chain, but we're skipping that one. We just did 2 in a row, so we're skipping this one, and then we're going to go under 2 loops of the next stitch. And then we're going to go, there's the turning chain, and we're going to go just above that in that hole. 2. Then I'm going to skip the stitch and go into the next 2. Okay, now I'm back at the beginning. So I'm going to just chain 1, and then you can slip stitch into the beginning if you want to do it that way. Now let me zoom back out, and we'll see that it's fairly evenly bordered. Some people work 3 stitches in each corner, which you can do that, you know, depending on how rounded your corners are. The way I did it, the corners are fairly rounded. But this way, the end isn't too tight, and it's not ripply either. If you go in every stitch in every row, it's going to ripple on this end. You'll have too many stitches. And if you skip too many, it'll draw up. So sometimes you have to experiment. The do 2, skip 1 isn't always going to work. You have to learn your own gauge and how you do it. And if you want it square, you're going to have to do more than 9 rows, probably 11, maybe 10. So yeah, that's how you work around single crochet. That's how you figure out how to count rows. So I hope this helps and answers some questions. I'm going to do the next video on how to do it with half double crochet and then 1 for double. So see you in the next video.